Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Confused to Focus Talks with Lekeisha. I'm so excited that you're here with us in our television show, family. This is the place where we can gather and we can be unstoppable, breaking free from all limitations. I am so excited to be before you. I am Coach Lekeisha, and we're going to have a great show today, family. Every show is great, as I always say, because it's very important for us to come together and be able to connect and conversate and have great dialogue on the importance of our well-being. And I am a well-being coach, definitely an identity coach, definitely a midlife empowerment coach. I'm all of that above, and I'm so excited to be able to be before you just to have a great conversation today. Family, I'm so excited, but do me a favor before we go any further, make sure you share this amazing television show and definitely like and definitely subscribe to this channel. And I'm so excited for us to move forward in it. So I'm so excited about this conversation. We're going to be talking about from displaced fear to unshakable focus, how to regain control. There we go, family. And I'm so excited for us to have this show today. And it's important for us to definitely be able to regain control of our lives. And that's definitely for us to not be in fear in life. So you already know how we start off our shows. We always start off with our smile. I'm so excited for us to smile together, family. Smiling is so important for this episode and every episode that I have, because it's important for us to understand the empowerment of the smile, for us to begin to utilize our muscles in such an amazing way for us to have a benefit with it. Honestly, smiling really gift wraps us with such an encouragement for ourselves. And honestly, it's a sense of belonging, and it's a sense of really inviting, honestly, within ourselves to invite in love and support. It's a really engagement to say, hey, I'm great to have a conversation with. And I want you to all know that it's important for all of us to be inviting and to be engaged with each other in our business, in our lives, in our wellness, and everything moving forward ahead. So you already know how I start off the show. I give a fun fact when it comes to smiling. So did you know, when it comes to a smile, that it takes the article definitely states that it takes 13 muscles in order for us to smile. 13 muscles, human beings, 13 muscles for us to smile. But it takes 50 muscles when we're frowning. Did you know that? That is interesting to me. So when we think about just the amazing process of smiling, it really doesn't take a lot for us to utilize, but it takes a lot for us to utilize when we're frowning, when we're glooming, when we're not happy, when we're sad. So it really does do something to our face, when we're actually frowning and just really being some type of way. It does something to us in our well-being, in our mindset, in our body. It really does something to us. So it's important for us to really be engaged, and for all of us to begin to look into the positive attributes of smiling. Honestly, I believe that's going to be a great fact for yourself. So we're going to go ahead into it, family. So the next segment of what we do in our show is definitely in our affirmations. Affirmations is something that's powerful for each and every one of us to embrace. It is important for all of us to be able to be engaged with it. So we're going to do it together. And I call it our I am statements. So I wrote a few down, and it's honestly is really focused on this today topic that we have. So, when it comes to a lot of our smiling efforts, it's going to be great for us to begin to understand this. I release fear and embrace clarity and courage. Okay. And then I am in control and focus in order to be grounded in my purpose. And I transform fear into fearless action. I love that, family. And I have a few more, honestly. And I believe we're going to take a couple of them in this particular television show episode. So I am aligned, I am focused, and I'm fully present in the moment. Okay. And I face challenges in strength and transform fear into fearless action, like we said before. And honestly, I have the power for me to be able to turn fear into a stepping stone into growth. That is so powerful. Honestly, it's like changing everything that's in your environment into something positive for yourself. At the same time, you're not embracing fears of other people, fears of, information that you were given, fears of your environment that you can't control. But you know what? You can control you. You can control who you are and how you begin to react. Okay. You can't control any reactions of other people, but you can control how you respond. You can definitely control that. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, family. And I believe this episode is really going to be great for each and every one of us to be able to understand how we can definitely begin to change, the fear aspects into unshapeable focus to regain control over our lives. So when it comes to a lot of those hot topics that we have, because that's going to be the next segment, if you think about hot topics that we have, the unseen power of displaced fear, and in order to the effects of our decision making. Do it do that? I believe it does. It affects our decision making when we're having in fear. If we operate in fear, so mind you, if you know that you are a great person that's going to be a great asset to a company, right? And you want to actually apply to this company, or you want to actually begin to build a resume and begin to go through that process. Now, fear can really change, your emotions. It can potentially tell you like you're not good for this, so don't do that. And you'll begin to procrastinate. You begin a process of feeling like you don't belong in that environment, so you won't actually achieve that goal of actually filling out the application and submitting it, even though you are fully qualified for it. Okay. And fear, honestly, can be in a position where it can really bind up your clarity. So you'll begin to forget the fact that, you're great at what you want to apply to. So you begin to be so fearful and feeling like you're not enough. And then you'll begin to do things like total opposite versus actually applying to that position. You'll begin to so much so of hiding the application. You'll go do that. Anybody raise your hand if you ever did that? Hide the application and begin to pretend like it's not even there. Oh, I didn't get that. That was for somebody else. I'm sorry. You'll begin to say things that are not true, and you'll begin to operate in something that is really not your wheelhouse because of fear. So it's important for us to really acknowledge that and begin to utilize the clarity of, doing the things that you want to do, and not allow fear to bind you up, and not allow fear to shut your mouth and your voice, not allow fear to tell you something that is not true, but begin to allow confidence in place of that, and begin to go ahead and proceed in doing the things that you know you want to do. You'll begin to break the back of fear. You'll begin to break the back of confusion when you're focused on the opposite of fear. You'll be having great clarity. You'll begin to understand who you are. You have more of the knowledge of your identity, and you'll begin to understand that you're great at this, and your words will change. Your words will change. So I think that this hot topic is really big on us because we can really actually use it for our daily lives, right, family? You might have been there. You might have been around people that good and well that you were great at this, and you were able to jump into the wheelhouse and jump into the platform and actually begin to negotiate with whatever is going on in that moment. But it's important for you to bind up the fear tactics, and it's important for you to begin to walk forward into the dreams and everything that you know that you are equipped for, because you have this. You're made for this. It's important for you to know that. So that is the hot topic for the day, family. I thought that you would definitely begin to embrace that and actually be aligned with that on today. So our next segment, we're going to go ahead into a lot of the principles of understanding what displaced fear is. So if you think about that displaced fear, when it comes to your life. So displaced fear, what is it? So first thing, it is understanding, how to really move forward and understanding what the actual issue is. Because if there is one or not, you need to know what it is so you'll know how to proceed to move forward. Understanding if your decisions, or if your interactions, and if the things that you're really moving forward in, are they real or not? A lot of times fear is binding you up and saying something that's really not true. And honestly, it can be so ingrained because you've been saying something that's not true for such a long time. You began to embrace it and began to make it your reality when it really isn't real. You need to understand that, because a lot of times we begin to feel like episodes are real that we don't have control over. Like, you don't have control over where you grew up. You don't have control over the environment. You don't have control over the powers that be that's in your around you, but one thing you have to center in yourself and begin to focus on what you do have control over versus the areas that you don't. You don't have control over the leadership of your employer or of your business partners or anybody else that are connected with you that you did not bring about. You only control you. It's important for you to understand that. So as you begin to put everything in this proper position, that's how you're able to react and respond. But you have to really understand if something is real or if something is not. Sometimes it may take a minute. Sometimes it may take a process for yourself to begin to really just journal and write down those areas in your life. It's important to write down areas that are not good. It's important to write down areas that are good. But it's important for you to write it down and for you to take it into place so you can actually understand what you need to do moving forward. Like I said, displaced fear can really be a reaction that is not real. It can be illusion. It can be a place that really does not deserve a place in your mind. But you will never know it unless you begin to see it, acknowledge it, and begin to move forward in the correct actions that needs to be made. I hope that helped out somebody today, because it's important for you to just take those breaks for yourself, because a lot of times fear is really ingrained and coming to you based off of the patterns of your family, of your past, of the episodes that happened before that you didn't have control over, or maybe you did have control over, but you did not operate in the way that you wanted to operate in. Okay. But it's really just taking ownership of it all and begin to react in a positive way that you need to do moving forward ahead right now, so you can have an appropriate actions, so you can have clarity, and you be able to have wisdom moving forward in what you truly want to live currently right now. Because displaced fear, it really often causes confusion. It really causes fear. It really causes anxiety, depression, anxiety, all of those areas in your life. And if you don't really acknowledge it, it's just going to keep going. And let me tell you something, it's going to keep going in areas that you really don't want it to keep going in. Okay. So you need to really just own it so you can break it and stop those patterns of lack in your life. It's important for us to always do that. It's important for us to always make those decisions, because when we make those decisions, we're able to have some clarity in our lives moving forward. Because all it is, displaced fear is putting this improper place, but we need to understand it. And guess what? We need to understand what fear is. Fear is something that is a root cause of all things, right? Honestly, if you break down fear is false evidence of appearing real. Let me say that again. False evidence of appearing real. It is not real, and it's false. And it's evidence, but it's not real. But it appears to be real. I hope that makes sense. I had to break that down for you a little bit because I am a coach. It's important for us to begin to really just take it in. Think about those areas of life that we're fearing. Think about those areas that we're putting in place that think it's bigger than us, but when it really isn't. So we're going to talk about that today, family. So when we begin to talk about this fear, a lot of times fear is a cloud that blocks our focus. It blocks our focus and it holds us in a pattern where we're truly not clear at all. And we're not thinking logically. Okay. a lot of times it is a place for us that we're feeling scattered brain. We're scattered in place and we continue to move forward in it, and we're not even owning up to it so we can begin to break it in our lives. We don't have clarity. We don't have the right logical decision making. And we feel that, we're doing something wrong because we're not really clear on what's really happening. We're accepting the lie. We're accepting this situation that really needs to be put in its place. You have the power to make the decisions for yourself. You have the power. So it's important for you to really uphold on your power. And it's important for you to understand how to move forward in the logic of who you really are. And because you are brilliant, you are perfectly made, you really are. And you have to keep knowing that and saying that over yourself. And as you begin to operate in that way, you're able to really think clear and able to really begin to put things in its place. And you're able to actually begin to build on the processes and the patterns and the areas that you truly want to be in. And you're able to walk into your purpose, walk into your clarity of truly what you are meant to be and what you are supposed to be focused on. And that's great for yourself. This is great, family. So I got a question for my audience. I got a question for you all. So when we're thinking about this and we're taking the time in the moment to really understand how to really make the best decisions for ourselves and really moving forward ahead, I have a question for you. What does fear look like in this situation to make decisions for yourself, to actually open up to, for example, like maybe a partnership with someone, or maybe just facing, your body and your body weight, or acknowledging who you are, maybe that's something you need to think about. So that's my question. And then I have another question for you. So when it comes to fear, like fear is, like I said, is the evidence, false evidence of appearing real. And honestly, it's really like a judgment over yourself. And it's really like a process of moving where you're not enough. How does that affecting you in your actions? I want you to answer that question for me. How is that affecting your actions? Because we really need to know how to move forward into ourselves. Because if fear is really taking control of your actions, you need to be aware of that, right? So it's important for us to begin to understand that. So one thing that I want to ask you guys today, when it comes to, I believe in the Bible. So when it comes to Psalms 27 verses 1, it's a great analogy that we went through this earlier today in my prayer call. And I'm loving this. So one thing about Psalms 27 verse 1, it says, "The Lord is the light and my salvation, in whom do I fear?" And it also says, "The Lord is my strength of my life, in whom shall I be afraid?" Think about that. God is telling us not to be afraid, not to be fearful, not to let fear hold any reign in our lives. So we need to understand that we really have the power. We really have the presence to understand that we can take control over it. And we don't have to be lackful. We don't have to be without. We can take control over anything that is controlling us. And I'm going to tell you this, in our mind. Controlling us in our mind and making us feel like we're not enough, or making us feel like that we can't do something when we know we can. It's important for us to understand really this concept and understand what's happening. And honestly, that scripture really does help me each and every day, because I love the fact that I know and I recharge myself and say that over myself for me to think clearer and understand to how to move forward ahead. So tell me if that really resonates with you, and let me know if you have maybe a scripture verse, or maybe you have a statement, a powerful statement that is going to be great for you to move forward in, to break that realm of fear, break that anxiety, break depression, that you can actually lean on to really encourage yourself to move forward in. It's important for all of us to be encouraged to understand how we can move forward. So when it comes to this episode, family, I really enjoyed it. Honestly, we began to talk about, how, fear can really just lead us into confusion, and it can have a cloud over our judgments. And honestly, we, really feel like we are not enough. So honestly, I believe that we really need to acknowledge the fear. We need to acknowledge it, and we need to break through and understand that we gain our focus ahead. And we're able to do that in a few areas, family. So it's important for us to begin to have some strategies in place for us to begin to understand how we can move forward. So we definitely need to, number one, we need to identify the fear. Okay. So we also need to be able to write down, like we said before, write down really what is holding us back, what is going on where we cannot move forward in, any type of areas in your life, just write that down. Okay. So number two, begin to challenge that fear. It's important for you to challenge the fear. And it's important for you to begin to understand, wow, what is this that I can't do? What is this trying to tell me I can't do? Write that all down, family. And then number three, take small steps into rebuilding yourself. You don't have to do everything all at once, but you can take small steps in progression into the areas that you want to lead into. You can begin to do that. Guess what? You're able to write it down. Okay. You're able to write it down and have a plan in place. And then you're able to begin to move forward step by step in how to reframe everything that's in front of you. And lastly, number four, we're going to talk about that reframing. Reframe all those negative thoughts. Tell those negative thoughts what to do. You don't have to think those negative thoughts. One thing you can do instead, you can begin to say, hey, well, what exactly do I fear? Do I really fear? Or you can say, you know what? I really can succeed. I can really build, and I really can do anything. Begin to reframe your negative thoughts in something positive. Tell yourself that you can do it. Tell yourself, I can do hard things versus I can't do hard things, or I can't do this. I'm not good enough. Yes, you can. So begin to do all four of those amazing steps, family, how you're able to reframe yourself, and take that with you. Take that information with you. And as you begin to lead with that, you're able to have a lot more power in your arsenals and a lot more confidence moving ahead. So it's important for us to think on that. So I will say this, family. My question to you is, what action steps are you going to proceed in today? Just today, family. Make it small. What action steps are you going to proceed today? Are you going to go ahead and make that phone call and actually begin to open up whatever it is that you want to open up? Are you going to definitely begin to forgive somebody today? Or are you going to go ahead and go for that walk? Are you going to actually go for that membership that you need to open up? Are you going to open that business? Are you going to begin the process of writing that book? Are you going to go ahead and write the next chapter? Whatever it is, take small steps. Just begin. Don't give up on yourself. You have the confidence. You have it, family. And I believe that you can begin to do this process with your life moving ahead. You can reclaim your confidence. And as you reclaim your confidence, take actions, take small steps, build your foundation the way you want to build it, family. And honestly, you won't fall because you're still here, and you can begin again and again and again, and you can continue to move forward in it. And I promise you can. Trust yourself. Trust yourself that you can lead, and you can actually begin to do anything that you want to do. And I'm here, Coach Lekeisha, is here to tell you that you can, and tell you always can win for yourself moving ahead. I really enjoyed this conversation, family. Thank you so much for all of you for being with us today. Always know that you can actually begin and do something different for yourself, because the year 2025 is truly your year. And I believe that whatever you wanted to achieve, you're going to achieve it this year. Begin to start. Begin to begin, family. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not by yourself. I'm here. Coach Lekeisha's here with you. And the Confused to Focus TV team is truly here with you to make sure that you can excel and move forward in anything that you want to do. I appreciate you, family, and I thank God for you. Thanks so much for being here with us and definitely moving forward ahead in this amazing platform. So this is what I will tell to you. Definitely, I look forward for each and every one of you to connect with me on my website, IamLekeisha.com. And that's the website where you can connect with, and definitely you can connect with me on my purpose and my why. And you connect with me on my amazing events that I have in place. Also, the Breaking Free from Toxic Patterns Summit. And that the new episode is coming up definitely in about the next couple of months, family. It's going to be this month, next couple of months, excuse me. And then you're able to connect with me on the Rise Above, Breaking Free from Toxic Patterns membership program there as well. You definitely can subscribe to subscription, family, and you're able to connect with us moving ahead in there too. Definitely able to connect with us on each and every episode that we have for sure, family. And also you're able to connect with us on our merch as well too. Family, I have the Soul Rockstar t-shirt here with me today right now, and it is the blue color we have on today, family. So you definitely want to make sure you grab your t-shirt and definitely order one for a family member or a connection with someone else next to you. I promise you it's going to be a great buy, it's a great way for you to begin to understand your empowerment, understand how great you are and how brilliant that you are when you're wearing it, family. I promise you it's a win for yourself and definitely for each and every one of us moving ahead. I look forward to seeing you all on next time where we connect with Confused to Focus Talks with Lekeisha, and definitely moving forward. And make sure you bring your friends and family here with us as well. So you already know how I end my television shows. In all you do, lead with confidence, understanding, and love always. Always know that you're a winner. Always know that you win. And I look forward to seeing you on next Thursday, family, at 5 p.m. Have an amazing and brilliant day.